Alright guys, Forsaken actually secretly updated their game with new VIP exclusive skins, huge collab removal, and many more sneak peeks revealed. Let's get into it!
Who is this?
Now, here's a bit of explanation about the non-canon Spectre design, since a lot of players were confused about what it actually represents. The Spectre itself doesn't truly have a confirmed physical appearance in Forsaken. The only real, visible depiction of it is the distorted presence that appears in the sky. Because of this, any other design that appears in the game or in official artwork is really just an interpretation rather than the true form of the entity. The well-known non-canon design is basically meant to represent how the survivors imagine the Spectre to look. In other words, it isn't supposed to be the actual version of the character within the game's lore. Instead, it's more like a visualization created from the survivor's perspective as they try to understand or make sense of the horror they're witnessing. Since the Spectre itself doesn't show any real human qualities or traits, a human-like design wouldn't actually be accurate to the canon version of the entity. Because of this, the Spectre is usually described as something closer to a cryptid or an unknown creature rather than a person. Its true form is meant to feel mysterious and unnatural, which is why the only consistent representation of it is the strange distortion seen in the sky. Since the design is intentionally left open to interpretation, players can imagine the Spectre in many different ways. Different interpretations can reflect how each person visualizes the horror or mystery surrounding the character. However, the non-canon design shown in Forsaken is currently the closest thing players have to an official interpretation of what the Spectre could look like. So after the Friday the 13th update dropped, Forsaken actually ended up secretly updating the game again shortly after. A lot of players didn't notice this at first, but it brought a few interesting additions that people had been asking for. When the Friday the 13th update released, there was a huge amount of support for it. Many players said it was one of the most fun and unique events the game had done in a while, mainly because of how different the gameplay felt with the fog and the slasher buffs. Because of that, a lot of people started asking if it would be possible to use the Friday the 13th slasher outside of the limited event itself. Well, that has now actually happened. The devs quietly allowed the Friday the 13th slasher to be used in private servers. So if you want to experience the event again or just mess around with your friends, you can still do that right now. It's not completely clear whether this will stay permanently or if it's only going to be available for a limited amount of time. It could remain as a permanent feature for private servers, or it might eventually be removed until the next Friday the 13th event happens again in the future. Alongside that change, there also been two new skins added for VIPs in private servers. One of these skins is for Slasher, and it's Dexter. Interestingly, this skin was actually an admin skin a while ago and was never publicly released to players. The Dexter skin actually comes with quite a few unique features. It has a custom raging pace animation where Dexter's eye turns gold, along with several custom voice lines tied to the skin. On top of that, it also includes its own custom kill animation. The other skin that was added is the Confused Sixer skin. This one is based on Sixer's classic Roblox avatar, which many players might recognize from Noob's Milestone renders. Unlike the Dexter skin, though, Confused Sixer doesn't come with any custom animations or sound effects. It's mostly just a visual skin for Sixer. However, with these skins, you cannot use them in public servers. There is still a chance they could become available later, though, as the Eye of the Abyss skin was initially limited before later becoming usable in public servers as well. Should these skins also be made available in public servers? Another change that many players noticed recently actually involves a collaboration that Forsaken once had with another Roblox game called Postmortem. During this collaboration, there were 5 different crossover skins added to the game. These included the Philosopher to Time, Suspicious Man 007 and 7, Marvin Dussaker, Lancer 1X, and Gratimio Taft skins. However, these skins have now all been completely removed from Forsaken, and players who owned them were refunded after the removal. At first, this caused quite a bit of confusion within the community. Some players believed that the skins were removed because Forsaken may have treated the post-mortem devs poorly, or that there was some sort of disagreement between the two teams. However, that doesn't actually appear to be the case. One of the post-mortem devs later spoke about the situation and clarified that they were treated with respect throughout the collaboration. According to them, the post-mortem team had actually asked for the skins to be removed a while ago, but it simply took a long time for the change to finally happen in Forsaken. So despite the speculation that appeared online, there doesn't seem to have been any major conflict behind the scenes. It was simply a delayed request that eventually went through. Because of that, it's very unlikely that they will return in the future. Since they were tied directly to that collab with Post-Mortem, bringing them back would probably require another agreement between both of them. Naturally, a lot of players were disappointed to see these skins removed, especially those who enjoyed using them or liked these skins a lot that it made them play certain survivors. At the same time though, since refunds were given to players who owned them, most people were at least compensated for the removal. Did you actually use these skins before they were removed?
Please, Speed, I need—
So, with there being many modded Forsaken games on Roblox, in this game, if you are playing as a survivor, you can use a quick chat feature to send % messages in the chat so people know what to do. If you need heals or want to say follow me, you can do that instantly. This basically improves communication for console and mobile players, so you don't have to spend time typing. It's probably one of the best features that could be added to Forsaken, as it helps players communicate more easily and work as a team. Some people even say it's better than emotes. While emotes are fun and can be used to annoy the killer, this feature encourages actual interaction between survivors. As a result, toxic emoting toward killers would become less of a factor because players would communicate more effectively. Many people want to see this feature added to the game and think it would be a huge improvement. The quick chat system also wouldn't have to be limited to support characters. Some have suggested that certain dialogue lines could fit noobs specifically, but if every survivor had unique dialogue, that would be really cool. It would add more variety, similar to hero-based games like Overwatch, where characters have unique interactions based on their lore. Should Forsaken add this feature in-game?
Oh my god!
There has been a new thumbnail added to the Forsaken homepage, and one of them is for Elliot. After a long time, it finally gives Elliot some lore about how people see him after he got Forsaken. In the thumbnail, his younger sister Mia is in the middle, and it seems like she can't remember what Elliot looked like. Because of this, she is going through different faces to figure out which one is actually him. Some people think the image represents her forgetting his face entirely. There is also an error message that says files not found, and under that there are 2 buttons that say I just and want him back, which likely shows that she misses him. However, there is also something in the corner of the thumbnail that appears to be the Spectre. Some players originally thought it might be Flowers, the next killer potentially coming to Forsaken, but one of the people who works on the collabs for Whistle Occurrence mentioned that it isn't Flowers and that it is most likely just the Spectre. So Forsaken could be preparing much more for the update than we expect. Can we see some unexpected things soon? Subscribe and hit the bell for more Forsakening it.